Tonight, what we've learned on the evolving U.S. government response. January 2020, the world first learns that patients in Wuhan, China are suffering serious complications from an unknown virus. And we soon realize infections from a novel coronavirus are fueling a fast-spreading global pandemic. By mid-month, the first U.S. case of COVID is reported in Washington state. Health experts conclude the outbreak is due to human-to-human transmission. Federal officials scrambling to contain its spread offer mixed messaging.
We are urging China. More cooperation and transparency are the most important steps you can take toward a more effective response.
It's really a big difference with the Chinese this time now. They look like they're being quite transparent and cooperative with us.
But how did such a deadly virus emerge so swiftly, so suddenly, from a central Chinese province? New internal communications from the National Institutes of Health obtained by Fox News show in the earliest days of the crisis, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the head of the agency's Infectious Diseases Institute, is warned COVID may have leaked from a Chinese government-run lab, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. January 27th, Fauci is told the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases has been indirectly funding the Wuhan lab through EcoHealth Alliance, a U.S.-based scientific nonprofit that had been working with novel coronaviruses. January 31st, Dr. Christian Anderson, a noted virologist at the Scripps lab, privately tells Fauci that after discussions with his colleagues, some of COVID-19's features potentially look engineered and, quote, the genome is inconsistent with expectations from evolutionary theory, meaning the virus may have been genetically manipulated. Fauci reacts immediately and organizes an all-hands-on-deck conference call with colleagues. He tells the deputy director of the agency, Dr. Hugh Auchincloss, of the urgency. Quote, it's essential that we speak this AM. Keep your cell phone on. Read this paper as well as the email that I will forward to you now. You will have tasks today that must be done. Later that day, Auchincloss confirms a study into experiments with the novel coronavirus funded through the NIAID may not have gone through proper biosafety review and oversight. He tells Fauci their staff will, quote, try to determine if we have any distant ties to this work abroad. Hours later, Fauci convenes a conference call with a dozen worldwide virologists. Notes of that hastily arranged meeting obtained by Fox News reveal suspicions of a Wuhan lab leak are suppressed over concerns that public revelations of Chinese involvement would do, quote, great potential harm to science and international harmony. Quote, further debate about such accusations would unnecessarily distract top researchers from their active duties and do unnecessary harm to science in general and science in China in particular. But some immunologists are not convinced. Dr. Mike Farzan is quoted as saying, I think it becomes a question of how do you put all this together, whether you believe in this series of coincidences, what you know of the lab in Wuhan, how much could be in nature, accidental release or natural event. I'm 70-30 or 60-40. Another scientist at the meeting, Dr. Robert Gary of Tulane University, is more adamant. Quote, I really can't think of a plausible natural scenario where you get from the bat virus or one very similar to it to nCoV, where you insert exactly 4 amino acids, 12 nucleotide, that all have to be added at the exact same time to gain this function. That, and you don't change any other amino acid in S2. I just can't figure out how this gets accomplished in nature. Of course, in the lab, it would be easy to generate the perfect 12-base insert that you wanted. Fauci and others point to evidence the virus may have originated in a seafood and wild animal market in Wuhan. But any scientific consensus is complicated by the market being shut down and scrubbed clean by Chinese authorities. With crucial evidence destroyed or hidden from international scrutiny, outside access to the lab is also restricted. Dr. Gary later says a consensus is reached among the experts on that call. Quote, 1, don't try to write a paper at all. It's unnecessary. Or 2, if you do write it, don't mention a lab origin, as that will just add fuel to the conspiracists. On that call, Fauci and his boss, NIH Director Collins, are again told about separate State Department warnings about lax safety protocols inside the Wuhan lab. It's unclear whether those warnings were expressed to White House officials. Nevertheless, despite the conflicting evidence presented by the virologists at that meeting, Collins seems convinced. Quote, "I'm coming around to the view that a natural origin is more likely, but I share your view that a